Health issues can have a huge impact on relationships. And for one couple, the past few years have been challenging to say the least. Tampines GRC MP Baey Yam Keng and his wife Lim Hai-yen both faced unexpected medical emergencies. In 2020, Ms. Lim was diagnosed with aphasia, a condition that affects a person's ability to communicate. And last year, Mr. Baey discovered he had nose cancer. Now, I sat down with a couple who are celebrating their 25th anniversary this year to find out how they've coped with their illnesses. Mr. Baey, Ms. Lim, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us today. Ms. Lim, let's start with you. Aphasia was in the spotlight recently when the family of Bruce Willis announced he was diagnosed with the disorder. Tell us about your experience. How has aphasia affected you, your work, and your family, and are you recovering well?
Initially, I was really shocked because it happened very fast. And after that, I was surprised. And then I couldn't speak. Yeah. So I used to be a reporter. So I used to ask people questions. And at that time, I asked myself many questions, including whether would I recover, what is going to be for me in the future, can I still continue to read and write, So I was in a kind of a dark phase for a while. And then I was, I think the most scariest part, the most fearful part is that I cannot be back to where I was used to be.
Mr. Baey, for yourself, when you found out about your wife's diagnosis and of course being, her supporter, her number one supporter, what was it like assuming that role and that responsibility as a caregiver to your wife, on top of, we know, your busy schedule as a MP?
When I suspected she had a stroke, because I noticed some symptoms, because she couldn't understand what I was telling her. Also, when in conversation, she keep asking the same questions. So I knew that it was something not right, and somehow I suspected that she had a stroke. Because I know that stroke depends on which part of the brain is affected. It can affect different body functions. And most of us associate stroke with physical sort of damage. You can't walk, half the body is paralyzed. So I would say that initially I underestimated the impact on Hai-yen, because I assumed that a physical impairment will be more devastating, more difficult to recover. So I even joked with her then, actually is considered quite mild or a blessing in disguise, because you are still okay, you're able to walk, to function as a person. Most people will not tell that you are suffering from any condition. But I think what I didn't realize is, as a patient, she had to suffer and go through it by herself, because if she doesn't speak or can't find a word for certain things, people may not know, even a close family. So I think that was, a part that she was really alone. She felt helpless, and perhaps many of us wouldn't know how to help, how to express our concern as well.
So where are you right now in terms of your progress of aphasia? Because it is a long-term illness that you have to cope with. Where are you at with managing it now?
I'm told that it would take like 1 to 2 years to fully recover. And after 2 years, you are where you are. You won't recover more. Yeah. So I feel, I don't know, because people have asked me this question, so I have to give a number. So I would say maybe like 90%. My son said I have 100%, I've recovered 100%, but I think he's being very kind to me. So, and at the end of the day, I actually don't care. So what I'm saying is that I can even recover more than 100%. Why? It's because I would get more skills. The other skills, like can be more grateful, be more empathy. There will be more empathy towards other people, and I would also help more people in this road of recovery.
Mr. Baey, you were diagnosed with and you found out that you had stage 1 nose cancer, and that was in December last year. Tell us about that experience.
So it was very sudden. I had no symptoms, so there's no issue that I was trying to investigate to find a cause or anything. So it was very accidental discovery. I also felt that I've been very, very fortunate in my last 51 years. I have no major illness or condition, or health problem. So it's okay. I mean, if life decides to give me this test now, I will face it. So when the results came back that it's positive, I was still quite cool about it. Yeah, but then the next phase of the test to determine which stage of cancer it was, then that part, it became a bit more worrying for me.
And why is that?
Because the oncologist took efforts to explain to me, okay, so they have different stages of nose cancer, and at which stage is what kind of treatment, things like that. So I began to worry about what if it's a late stage. Of course, the chances of recovery, survival will be lower. The treatment will be more complicated. So I hope not to have to go through that. Yeah, so I was hoping that it's just stage 1.
And Ms. Lim, your reaction to that, when Mr. Baey revealed to you the diagnosis?
To be honest, I was more upset about his illness than mine, because he still now is the source of a pillar, the support for the whole family. And then what if something happens to him? Because he used to be able to take care of us, of the family, his residents, So I was, and I also don't know how to react to him, because he told me, I'm okay, don't fret around me. Yeah. So in a certain sense, I think I pretend to be okay, so that he would not worry too much.
So where are you now? So how was the recovery like and the treatment like, Mr. Baey? Because I know that it was quite traumatizing for you. You had to remove some teeth. Tell us about that.
Actually, it's to prepare for the long-term effects of radiation. Okay, so the radiation is supposed to cure the cancer, remove the cancer cells, but the procedure itself will cause some side effects, and some would be long-lasting. It may surface years later. And one worry was the impact on the jaws, the teeth, because the bone structure will be affected. So as part of the preparation, I have to see the dentist to check for any teeth that might become a problem in future. And I had all 4 wisdom teeth still around. So although they're growing fine, but because it's at the age, the dentist said, well, if any teeth were to decay, these are the 4 potential ones. So shall we just remove them, just to play safe, right? In case it happens. And why the 5th one was because I was supposed to do a tooth implant. It was a tooth that had a root canal done some years ago, and then it didn't last long, so I removed it. And so the dentist recommended an implant. Otherwise, it will affect the surrounding teeth. But because of this treatment, I can't do an implant anymore. Okay, so there was a lower cavity. So the upper tooth, because of gravity and without a bottom tooth to support it, it might sink and cause a problem. So I had to remove that tooth, that's become 5 teeth. Yeah. So I would say that the most painful part was that afternoon where I had to have all my 5 teeth extracted.
And never in your life you had to have 5 teeth removed.
In my life, I only had 1 tooth extracted before that.
Oh, just 1?
Yeah, I'm quite lucky. My teeth have been very good to me. So yeah, so now.
That must have been quite a challenge and traumatizing for all 5. I'd like to get a final thought from each of you. You know, what is the one thing about your spouse that surprised you when they were ill? Maybe Miss Lim, you can share with me, because earlier on you said, you know, Mr. Baey is a brave man. Anything else, you know, that surprised you?
So the one thing that actually surprised me was last year, because this year we are celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. So for last year, we went on a staycation because we can't go anywhere, right?
Closed, yeah.
And then what surprised me is he sent me 24 pictures, 24 photos at 1 hour interval for 24 hours. Yeah. So with every photo, he wrote something, you know. Yeah. So I was so like surprised. Yeah. So it's like to be together 24 hours every day. Yeah.
Is that the most romantic thing he's done for you? Is that why?
Only romantic thing.
That will end.
Right.
Yeah.
And what about you, Mr. Baey? What was the one thing that surprised you about Miss Lim, you know, throughout the whole journey of managing aphasia?
I think she's very brave and very independent. And she also doesn't want us to worry about her, because she is finding her own ways to recover or to cope with her condition. So she likes games and things like that. So she devised, come up with ideas to help herself, but at the same time involve the family and fun. Something that people will enjoy.
And sometimes I have to console the other people, you know, like I'm not so bad, you know, I'm okay, you know, I'm still the same person. Yeah.
So I think that helped herself, but also helped us manage the whole situation together. And I also appreciate her that when I had my condition, I know she must be worried, but I think if she come across as very worried and, you know, very anxious about everything that's happening to me or whatever, then I will feel even more stressed. So at least I didn't feel that, because I feel that I'll just leave it in the good hands of the doctors and just get on with it. So I think the way she has handled it has also helped me tremendously to go through this journey.
Mr. Baey, Ms. Lim, thank you so much for, again, you know, taking time off to do this sharing with us and, of course, to have a chat with us. You can read more about Mr. Baey and Ms. Lim's conditions and how they supported each other through their illnesses. The articles are there at str.sg/livingwell.